Hello, my name is Kat and welcome to my channel. Um, so today's video is kind of an update video. I've been basically absent from YouTube in April, and I barely streamed. I did the 16-hour live stream on Twitch on the first, and then I'm not even sure um what streams I've done. I did one. I At some point did a couple of sim streams, but they weren't very long. Um, I did some Coffee Bunny, but I disappeared during some of it. I did a stream on the last day, like on the day of my exam, because I needed to do my final, and so my final was writing a paper, and I completely wasn't there for the last Coffee Bunny Cafe last week, which was hosted on my channel, which thankfully I gave the Glory from Glory Rides the Blues the ability to she can control my StreamYard, and we can still have Coffee Bunny if one of us isn't available, so we both gave each other that power. We also did that so that we could both control comments and the loading of all the things in the background. Um, but if you've seen me in chats and stuff, I can hear the geese. They bring me a little bit of joy. I I am still kind of feeling sick. Um, Most of April. So like right after that mega stream, I first my stomach started to be real messed up, and I was just really tired, and I think that might have just been my old acid reflux, gastritis, whatever I have. I don't remember what I was diagnosed with as a teenager. I just know it involves my stomach. Um, I just thought that was acting up, and it was. Um, but I also, TMI, um, got really bad diarrhea, and I've had it for over a month. And that is very taxing on your body. And I lost my appetite. I have finally gone to the doctor, by the way. I went to the doctor on Monday. Um, so I'm trying to get answers, but I found out that I've lost like 20 pounds in April. because of lack of eating and the diarrhea. Um, I and it's not that I'm not hungry. Like, I am hungry, but, like, something with my mouth has been super dry. It has seemed to be a little bit better the last couple of days. Um, at some point, I was also, like, dehydrated, by the way. Like, in the middle of April, I had a UTI, so I got antibiotics, and that made me feel better for a little bit, but not 100% better. And then the stress of school and stuff, and I had to I left work one day early because I was puking. Um, and I called in the next day because I was still really sick. I my manager at my job had given me, she filled out a form to get at least the half day dropped because there was also a day that I had accidentally come in a few minutes late. I was like 9 minutes late to work. And that got me 6 points because my job is on a point system. And so she got me leaving early removed. Um, and she was like, it had been a rough time for everyone. And so I couldn't miss any more days until my 90 days rolled off. But I got some really high anxiety. Part of also why I went to the doctor was my anxiety. Um, sorry. I had a really bad panic attack at my job, and I don't think anyone even really knew at work that I was having a panic attack. Um, but I was essentially like hyperventilating for 2 hours almost, and it was not a pretty sight. Um, one of my coworkers, she was leaving because she was sick. Um, had, like, kinda walked into the room I was in to grab, like, her stuff and was just like, "Oh," like, she had this complete look of, "I have no idea what to do," because she walked into me, like, in a semi-fetal position on a bench, hyperventilating, holding my phone, um, trying to sip water to see if, like, and to trying to calm myself down. She grabbed me some tissues though before she left so that I could wipe my eyes and the snot. Um, but I was messaging my mom, who thankfully had the day off, um, through my entire panic attack. And I'm not 100%. I don't fully know what caused this panic attack. That happened on that Friday. I worked my entire shift that day, even though I was having a panic attack. I'm pretty sure I was having it earlier, but the hyperventilating came a little later because, like, I think I was already in the panic attack. Um, and just nothing that I just couldn't distract myself. And I couldn't separate my brain from the situation. The, I, it just, and so I had a really bad panic attack. And if you've ever had a panic attack, one, they're exhausting. Ex- just panic attacks in general are exhausting. Two, I was hyperventilating for like 2 hours and still struggling to breathe for some of it. And so, like, I went home and after work, like after my shift, because I finished my shift, and I basically was still a semi rock. Like, I kind of got in my bed, it was like a semi rock. Um, my mom was like messaging me, making sure I was okay. Um, but she was really super concerned because of my breathing and how long I had been hyperventilating. And I was still talking to her on Saturday about it because my anxiety was still really high. And I ended up I ended up needing to call into work on Saturday because I ended up having another panic attack. And considering how bad the one was on Friday, then going into the next day where my body still hadn't recovered, I had another one. And it was a choice I had to make of I am having a panic attack. My body is still physically exhausted from my previous panic attack the day before. I was barely useful on Friday, let alone having a second panic attack, like in 2 days. And I, so, like, I could already feel myself kind of like drowsing. Um, like I was extremely drowsy and my body hurt. If you've ever hyperventilated, like my ribs and like just because my body was tense, so it ached. And all I really wanted, like, what I could achieve was curling in a ball, essentially. So I curled up in a ball. Um, I called work and I let them know, like, because I was having a panic attack when I called in, like, and the person on the phone, like, couldn't understand me initially. So, like, I was trying to even my breathing to, like, steady out the panic attack. Um, and I managed to, like, steady it out enough to call into work. And I knew there was a chance that I could be fired, but I was like, I'm borderline non-functional right now. If I went into work, I would just have another panic attack because I worked in retail and it's so, like, even if you barely interact with customers, it's very stressful. And I did. I called in and I basically spent the day asleep because that's all I had the energy for. And also, like, I had already not been eating well, and anxiety makes me eat not well. So my body was like, we're just, we're just gonna do nothing and hope we don't burn calories. Um, so I went into work on Sunday because it's not like they're gonna call me or anything. Um, mind you, I sat at a bus stop to excuse me. I sat at a bus stop for like 30 minutes. The 10:10 bus did not come until like 10:38. And I was like, wow, I've been here for like 30 minutes, guys. Good thing my shift wasn't at like 10:30 or something. And then, like, when I got off the bus at the stop that I walked to work from, I saw a dead cat in the road, and it was a freshly dead cat, and I was like, "This is really depressing. This is super depressing." And then I went to the store. I went to the back, put my purse in the locker, grabbed my name tag and my box cutter, because those are the things I grab whenever I go into work. Went to the storage old fitting room area. They turned the fitting room into storage. And well, first I went and got something to drink because I forgot to grab a bottle of water before I left the house. So I went to the vending machine in the back, grabbed water, and as I was leaving that room to head to the front or middle of the store, that's where the department is, I see a sign that says May's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I made my way to that room, and it wasn't time for me to clock in yet. So I stood there for a minute, and manager came in and was like, "Kat, you're gonna have to leave. You knew you couldn't miss a day until after the 4th." And she's like, "Okay." And I went back to my locker, got my stuff out of my locker, completely emptied the locker, um, took the key up to the front people because they're the ones who do it, because I paid $5 to get this locker and I wanted my money back. Um, so I got my $5 and then I walked home because it was like fresh air will hopefully help me. It did a little bit. Mind you, it was Sunday. Um, Thankfully, also by walking home, I avoided looking at the dead cat again because seriously, that was depressing. Like seeing the dead cat initially had almost also sent me into a panic attack. Just saying. Um, because I was like, this isn't so what? Um, on my walk home, I started crying because it's not that I liked my job. I liked my coworkers. Um, like the people that I worked with, and in all honesty, my department wasn't treated that great by the front department, and I was constantly, especially if I worked in the evening, I was like the only person left in the department. So I would have to try, mind you, one for the last month had not felt well and was basically running to the bathroom like every 45 minutes or less, um, for like a month. And so like I had been sick, it's somewhat in pain at times, trying to do as much as I could in an apartment by myself that I shouldn't have been by myself in. Um, but like I was crying because I got fired, and I have never, it was it's the first time I've been fired. and, like, it's still a thing. I'm not that great with, if you can tell. Um, but my mom, so I was messaging my mom as I left. Don't worry, when I actually crossed streets and things, I did not message. I was actually paying attention to my surroundings and only on the sidewalk when I knew I was in the clear, and don't worry. Um, my mom ended up calling me to talk to me. I got off the phone with her, called my dad. Um, Neither of my parents were mad at me. Um, 'Cause it's not the end of the world. It just sucks. 'Cause I'm like, I might not like this job, but I need money. I have rent to pay, food I need to eat. Um, so, but my dad and my stepmom like talked me out of my panic attack because they're like, "You're gonna survive this. It's just the initial reaction." Especially with how high my anxiety has been. So, um, my dad was part of a union, so my dad was like, "When you get off the phone with me, call the union rep." Sadly, we had gone through a couple of reps and I wasn't sure of the extension, so and I couldn't get a hold of anyone that day. Um, but I'm in communication with the rep to see if anything like we're gonna see. My dad told me to see if I could potentially get unemployment. Um, just so that I have a little bit of money in some way. So I was fired. I didn't quit. This video is gonna be longer than I thought it was. I was hoping it would be like a quick update, but it's not. Um, on Monday, so I'm just walking you through until today, essentially. On Monday, I went to the I called to get a doctor's appointment because I had the things going on with my bowels and my mental health, and I was like, I don't know if I can get an appointment for both of these or if I have to get one and try and get a different appointment for my mental health later. And the front desk person was like, you kind of need to pick one. So I picked the thing with my bowels because I was like, that's important. I can get a virtual visit for my head. Um, but I went to the doctor. Um, and the doctor, I had never seen this doctor before. I had a different doctor, but she left the office that I use. So this person, I'm able to see anyone there. But he was really great. I I realized later, I was like, I think this is the first time I've ever had a male doctor. Um, like after I left. But don't know what's wrong with me. But they took some blood. To run a bunch of tests. They took like five different vials of my blood. They said I did really well because I'd never had my blood drawn before. 2 nurses ended up doing it, um, and because also I hadn't eaten because my appetite's been really messed up. So there's that, on top of everything. And but the doctor checked me out, for that. We don't know what it is. Running a bunch of tests, including a stool sample. Be the grossest thing I've ever had to do. Don't recommend, but do it if you medically need, like, it was gross. But then the doctor also, because I had mentioned my mental health, and he was like, "No, we can talk about it." Um, because of especially he was like, especially with because of how high my anxiety had been that weekend. He's like, "No, let's also talk about this." And I ended up being like his last patient of the morning. So like the first set of patients and then the downtime that they have to do paperwork and a bunch of other stuff, I guess. Um, so we talked about my mental health, my panic attacks, my history of them, what I could remember of them, and he talked to me about my options with um, medications and with therapy. So I now have a medication, a prescription, that I can take as needed. And I also have a list of a bunch of therapists and counselors to try and get in contact with. What's doing? Um, so yeah, that's a very depressing cat update. I have no book updates. But I did get the good news that I have actually passed my class. I got the SWS credit for it, so that means I have officially graduated. So yay. Um, that's the good news. I still don't know what's wrong with me, but I graduated. Um, sorry that this was really depressing. Um, yeah, thanks for watching.